The days after the asteroid mission were unlike anything humanity had experienced before. The world slowly returned to its routines, but the knowledge that they had faced a threat together with the galactic peacekeepers had left a permanent impression on everyone involved. The Iron Giants, once seen as extraordinary machines, were now celebrated as symbols of human ingenuity, teamwork, and courage. In the valley where the Giants were stationed, Lena and Raj walked among them, checking systems and making minor adjustments. Engineers moved with renewed energy, inspired by the success of the mission. Even the media, which had initially dismissed the Iron Giants as experimental tools, now broadcast stories of the heroes who had helped save Earth. Lena paused and looked up at the sky. "Do you think they'll come back?" she asked. Raj smiled. "They will. Not just to watch this time, but to work with us." Far above in orbit, the peacekeepers observed quietly. Captain Sorrell's ship hovered near the planet, sending and receiving messages through the universal translator. The aliens were reviewing the mission data, but more importantly, they were evaluating humanity itself. "These humans," Sorrell said softly to her officers, "they are more than we expected. Their courage, intelligence, and cooperation, it is rare. We must consider them carefully for inclusion in the galactic community." A formal invitation. After several days of observation, a new message arrived for Earth. It was different from the previous communications. Longer, more deliberate, and formal. It read, "Humans of Earth, you have demonstrated creativity, courage, and wisdom. You have shown that you can act responsibly with power, adapt to unexpected challenges, and protect life. Therefore, the galactic peacekeepers recognize your civilization as worthy of alliance and cooperation. We invite you to participate in a council of species devoted to peace, knowledge, and exploration." Lena read the message aloud in the command center. Engineers, scientists, and observers around her gasped. The words were simple, but the meaning was extraordinary. Humanity had been acknowledged as an equal by civilizations far older and more advanced than their own. Raj's eyes sparkled. We've been invited to the stars," he said, barely believing it. "Yes," Lena said, smiling. "Not just to explore, but to stand as equals. This is what we've always hoped for." News of the peacekeepers' invitation spread worldwide. Governments, scientists, and citizens marveled at the idea that humanity would join an interstellar alliance. For a species still young in space, it was a monumental step. Recognition that humans were capable of greatness. Not just on Earth, but in the galaxy itself. A meeting of minds within weeks. Representatives of Earth were chosen to meet the peacekeepers in orbit. The delegation included engineers, scientists, and observers who had worked closely with the Iron Giants. Lena and Raj were among them, honored to serve as humanity's first ambassadors. The Peacekeepers' Council chamber was unlike anything humans had imagined. Towering crystal pillars reflected light in ever-changing patterns, and floating platforms allowed visitors to move freely in zero gravity. Alien delegates of many forms, light, mist, and shimmering metallic shapes, floated with elegance and dignity. Captain Sorrell welcomed the humans personally. "Welcome, representatives of Earth," she said. "You have shown that intelligence is not measured by power alone, but by wisdom, courage, and care. You are the first young species in many cycles that have truly earned our respect." Lena bowed slightly, her heart racing. "Thank you, Captain Sorrell. We are honored to be here. Our people wish to learn, to help, and to grow alongside the galaxy's civilizations," Raj added. "We hope to show that humanity can contribute to peace and understanding. Not just discovery." The council members exchanged glances, impressed by the humility and confidence of the humans. Sorrell gestured toward a holographic display of Earth's accomplishments. The Iron Giants, space programs, and innovative projects in renewable energy and science. "These machines," Sorrell said, "represent more than technology. They represent the spirit of your people, creative, courageous, and compassionate. That is what makes your civilization remarkable. A symbol of trust as a final act of acknowledgement." The peacekeepers invited the humans to stand beside them in orbit, while observing a demonstration of advanced interstellar technology. Massive ships glided silently, energy fields shimmered, and the precision of alien coordination was breathtaking. Yet the humans felt no fear. They had faced challenges and had learned to work together with the aliens. Lena stood beside an iron giant on a floating platform specially designed for the ceremony. Its metallic body gleamed in the alien light, eyes glowing softly. Raj stood next to another giant, both humans and machines, a perfect reflection of unity. Captain Sorrell addressed all present. Today, we recognize Earth and its people as valued members of the interstellar community. Your courage in the face of danger, your intelligence in solving problems, and your compassion in all actions make you worthy allies. From this day forward, your species will no longer be observed as a curiosity, but as a partner in exploration and peace. The humans felt a quiet pride, not in superiority but in recognition, that they had proven themselves worthy through thought, action, and heart. The Iron Giants were no longer just machines. They were ambassadors of humanity, a symbol of the strength that comes from unity and wisdom. A new era begins. When the ceremony concluded, Lena and Raj returned to the command center of Earth's orbiting station. The stars stretched endlessly before them, each one a world to explore, a mystery to understand, and now a potential ally. Can you believe it? Lena asked. We're actually part of something bigger than Earth, Raj smiled. It's more than belief. It's responsibility. We have to live up to what they've seen in us. Below, on Earth, people watched the skies at night, knowing that their planet had been noticed by beings from across the galaxy. The Iron Giants stood quietly in their hangars, their metal bodies reflecting the first hints of dawn. They had proven themselves, but more importantly, they had proven that humans were capable of courage, cooperation, and thoughtfulness beyond their years. Across the galaxy, whispers spread. Earth, a young world of blue oceans and green continents, had grown into a civilization that was not just capable of survival, but capable of inspiring others. The story of humanity's ingenuity and bravery, of machines guided by care and intelligence, became known among the peacekeepers' allies and observers. Captain Sorrell, back in her ship, looked at Earth one last time before departing. We came to observe, she said softly, but it seems we have also learned. Perhaps it is humans who will teach us about courage, hope, and the strength of unity. Hope for the future. The humans returned to Earth with the knowledge that their species had earned a place among the stars. Governments, scientists, and ordinary citizens were inspired to think bigger, to innovate and to collaborate not just on their planet, but with the galaxy. The Iron Giants continued their work, assisting with construction, environmental restoration, and scientific exploration. Yet now they also carried a new purpose, as symbols of humanity's potential and as bridges to the wider universe. Lena looked at the machines, her heart full. You've done more than we imagined, she whispered. You've shown the galaxy what humans are capable of. Raj placed a hand on her shoulder. And this is only the beginning. Earth has a long journey ahead, together with our friends among the stars. Above, the peacekeepers watched in quiet admiration. Humanity had faced challenges, earned respect, and demonstrated the qualities that mattered most: intelligence, courage, compassion, and unity. For a young species, they had accomplished something remarkable. The stars twinkled in approval. The galaxy expanded with possibilities, and Earth's humans, alongside their Iron Giants, looked to the future, not with fear but with hope, determination, and the knowledge that they had finally claimed their place among the stars. And so, a new era began, one where humans were no longer just a curious species on a small blue planet, but trusted partners in a galaxy full of life, exploration, and endless potential. The Andarian alliance was tense. Every major species in the galaxy had gathered in the central chamber of the Grand Orbital Station, a structure floating silently above a pale blue planet in the Archon system. Representatives from hundreds of worlds filled the crystalline hall, their shapes, colors, and forms as varied as the stars themselves. Tentacles waved nervously, iridescent scales shimmered under the lights, and mechanical drones hovered silently next to their organic masters. All eyes were on the viewport. A small blinking light in the darkness of space signaled the approach of the long-awaited human delegation. For decades, the galaxy had whispered about Earth. Some called its inhabitants fragile and primitive. Others speculated they might be clever but weak. No one really knew what humans were capable of. They arrive at last, murmured Ambassador Corral of the Zevian Collective. His four eyes narrowed. I wonder, will they come with words of peace, or are they hiding claws behind polite gestures? The hum of conversation filled the hall as the human ships drifted closer. They did not move like ordinary vessels. Sleek and massive, they were armored in reflective steel, their surfaces bristling with small modules, sensors, and weapons, but nothing pointed directly at the station. Still, the sheer size of the ships made every alien diplomat shift in their seats. "Perhaps they are diplomats after all," said Counselor Riln of the Lauren. "Or perhaps fools. Only one way to find out." Then the ship stopped. Silence fell across the chamber. Slowly, the massive doors of the human vessels opened. From within, giant figures emerged. They were not humans as anyone had imagined. They were machines, enormous, standing over 30 meters tall, covered in gleaming steel plates and moving with surprising grace. Articulated limbs, energy conduits, and softly glowing sensors traced along their bodies. The aliens' mouths and equivalent organs dropped open. One of the machines stepped forward, its footsteps echoing like distant thunder. A voice, calm and firm, carried through the station's interstellar comm system. "We come in peace. We represent Earth, but we never travel unprepared." The words were simple, yet they carried authority. A ripple of unease ran through the alien council. They had expected polite humans, fragile and polite. They had not expected walking fortresses of steel. Counselor Riln's tentacles twitched nervously. These are not diplomats." "No," Ambassador Corral said, his voice low, almost a hiss. "These are warriors, or something like them." The human machines stopped at a precise distance from the council chamber. They did not advance aggressively, but their presence alone was intimidating. Every alien present felt it instinctively. These beings could destroy fleets with ease. Yet somehow there was no anger in their posture, no threat in their tone. A small delegation of actual human officers appeared at the base of one iron giant, visible now through the reinforced glass of the cockpit. They were calm, observing, and in uniform. They did not raise weapons or shout. They simply stood as the machines moved with precise, silent coordination. Ambassador Corral leaned forward. "How can a species so fragile produce something so powerful?" he muttered. A Lauren diplomat hissed back. "Fragile? Did you see its size? Its armor? Its energy projection arrays? That is not fragile, it is overwhelming." The human spoke again, this time with a translation device. "We are here to establish diplomatic relations. We value peace, but we will defend ourselves and our allies if necessary." There was a pause. Not a single alien voice dared respond immediately. The room was filled with the subtle hum of advanced machinery, the soft clicks of alien appendages, and the occasional mechanical whir from hovering drones. Counselor Riln finally spoke, choosing his words carefully. "Your appearance. It is unexpected. We assumed your species would send delegates, humans, to speak with us. Not machines." One of the human officers smiled faintly. "We understand the surprise. Earth's approach is different. We prepare for many possibilities. Diplomacy does not require weakness. Sometimes strength ensures peace." The alien stared. Strength used for peace? The concept was alien in itself. Many species had technology, yes, but they were quick to use it in war or as a threat. Humans seemed to combine power with restraint, a concept few truly understood. Ambassador Corral motioned for his aides. "Bring forward the first test," he said quietly. Moments later, small energy probes floated toward the human ships. They fired harmless pulses, simulated attacks designed to observe reaction times and defense capabilities. The human iron giants responded instantly. The blasts struck the armor of the machines and were absorbed, redirected, or neutralized. Not a single human was in danger. The giants moved with astonishing speed for their size, deflecting energy pulses like skilled dancers avoiding a storm of light. Gasps echoed through the chamber. They are not just machines," whispered one Lauren delegate. "They are extensions of humans. Humans controlling power far beyond their own size." A human officer spoke calmly. "Every action we take is measured. Every response is controlled. Strength without control is meaningless. We show you this only to demonstrate capability, not aggression." The aliens were quiet. Some of the younger delegates whispered among themselves, curiosity mixing with fear. If these were humans, what could they do without restraint? An hour passed. The council chamber remained tense but respectful. The humans' calm demeanor, combined with the overwhelming power of the iron giants, began to shift perception. Whispers turned to careful questions and questions into cautious respect. Finally, Counselor Riln addressed the assembly. We came expecting fragile species, eager to speak words of peace. Instead, we find beings capable of immense force, yet choosing restraint. This is something we have not seen before. Perhaps Earth is older or wiser than we imagined. The human officer in the main Iron Giant's cockpit nodded slowly. We are young in the galaxy, but we learn quickly. We adapt, and we hope to share knowledge, not conflict. Ambassador Corral remained silent, studying the machines. Knowledge backed by this might is a strange thing. It demands caution. As the first session ended, the aliens left with a mixture of awe, fear, and curiosity. Earth had arrived not as a weak, polite civilization, but as a force that could not be ignored. Across the galaxy, news of the humans' iron giants would spread quickly. Some would tremble at the thought. Others would watch with admiration. But all would understand one thing clearly. Humanity had arrived, and they had arrived fully prepared. As the ships slowly departed the conference hall, one young diplomat whispered to a colleague, "I thought I understood diplomacy. I thought I understood power, but I do not understand Earth. Not yet." And for the first time, the galaxy realized that sometimes the appearance of a warrior is also the first step toward peace. The humans had not fired a shot, yet in those silent, metallic forms, the aliens could feel the weight of 1,000 potential worlds held in the balance. The question now was not if humans could fight, they had seen that, but how far would they go if forced to defend what they believed in? The first day of Earth's interstellar diplomacy ended not with a handshake, but with silence, reflection, and a growing respect for the unknown power of humanity. And somewhere in the control room of the Iron Giants, a human officer looked out at the alien council and whispered to his companion, "Let them understand. Let them see who we are." The galaxy had been warned, but no one knew the full story yet. The galaxy had been talking about the humans for days. Every star system that received news of Earth's Iron Giants did so with a mix of fear, curiosity, and admiration. In the grand halls of the Andarian Alliance, debates continued, some voices trembling, others cautiously intrigued. For many, the question was no longer whether humans could defend themselves, it was how much humans already knew about the galaxy and its civilizations. On board the Iron Giants, the human delegation observed quietly. Unlike many other species, humans did not react to whispers of fear or admiration. They had expected it. They had prepared for it. Their machines moved with calm precision, their sensors scanning the alien fleets and the structures of the council station. To any observer, the humans seemed almost serene, like a storm contained in steel. "Scanning the station's energy grids now," said Commander Reyes, her voice steady inside the cockpit of the largest Iron Giant. "We need to understand their infrastructure. It is not a threat yet, but knowledge ensures safety." Her co-pilot, Lieutenant Hahn, nodded. "I still cannot get over it. Every species we've encountered underestimated us at first. Then they are startled. They expected small humans, not this." Commander Reyes allowed herself a small smile. "Let them be startled. Diplomacy often starts with attention. If they see us as small, they ignore us. If they see us as dangerous, they listen." Meanwhile, the aliens continued their attempts to comprehend humanity. Small delegations approached cautiously, floating their observation drones closer to the Iron Giants. Each drone was met with calm but unmistakable responses from the humans' machines. The Giants moved to block drones that ventured too near, but did so without causing harm. Energy pulses redirected them gently, leaving the aliens shocked and impressed. "This is controlled power," murmured Ambassador Corral. "They could destroy us in moments. Yet they do not. It is respect for others. Or calculation, perhaps both." A curious Lauren delegate, tentacle twitching nervously, floated closer to the largest Iron Giant. "Tell me," she said, "why do you come in such form? Why not send humans as we expected?" The human officer responded, his voice calm but firm. "We come in forms that allow us to protect ourselves and others, without resorting to harm unless necessary. We are humans, but we are not fragile. Our form reflects our philosophy. Strength used responsibly ensures peace." The Lauren delegate's eyes widened. "Strength used responsibly. Most species claim that, but fail to achieve it. You may be different." The human officer nodded. "Perhaps we are. Perhaps the galaxy will learn that humanity chooses a different path, one where power is not a threat unless provoked, and where knowledge is as important as strength. At the council station, the Andarian leaders decided it was time for the next test. If Earth's humans were as advanced as they seemed, they must demonstrate more than defensive skill. They had to show strategic understanding. "Prepare the simulations," said Counselor Rillen. "We will conduct a controlled exercise. It is time to see if humanity can respond to a true challenge." Minutes later, a holographic projection appeared in the chamber. The simulation showed a nearby neutral station under threat. Its energy shields flickered, warning lights flashed, and alien vessels, programmed to appear hostile, approached rapidly. The aliens observed eagerly, expecting Earth's iron giants to react defensively, maybe aggressively. But what happened next was unexpected. The human iron giants moved with calculated precision, surrounding the simulated threat without touching it. Their sensors analyzed the hostile vessels, predicting movements and neutralizing potential damage points without firing destructive weapons. The simulated aliens were forced to retreat after failing to breach the station's defenses. Gasps filled the chamber. They controlled the threat without destruction," whispered one Zevian observer. "They could have destroyed the station or us, but they chose not to. They think differently." Commander Reyes spoke over the station's communication system. "Every situation can be solved in many ways. We choose restraint first. Strength is a tool, not a weapon to threaten unnecessarily. Violence is a last resort." The aliens were stunned. Most had never seen such a combination of power and calculation. Many species would have destroyed the threatening forces immediately, yet here were humans exerting control over their immense abilities while respecting life and balance. "This changes everything," muttered Ambassador Corral, "a species capable of overwhelming force yet guided by reason and ethics. This is unprecedented." Even among the humans there was quiet satisfaction. Lieutenant Hahn commented, "They are beginning to see it. They are beginning to understand that we are not here to dominate but to coexist, and that coexistence requires preparation, not vulnerability." But not all aliens were impressed. A small faction known as the Varnak murmured among themselves, clearly uncomfortable. "They flaunt power under the guise of diplomacy," hissed one. "Do you think restraint will last? Or is it a show?" Commander Reyes anticipated such thoughts. She turned to her co-pilot. "Let them doubt. Doubt forces caution, and caution prevents mistakes. They will see in time what humanity truly values." As the hours passed, the humans demonstrated more than defensive capability. They showed adaptability, learning the patterns of alien communications, reading energy signatures, and even predicting the results of complex diplomatic maneuvers. The Iron Giants moved with intelligence beyond mere programming. They reflected the humans inside, their decisions guided by both logic and ethical reasoning. "You see," said Commander Reyes, "technology is only part of the story. The human mind is the real engine. Our machines extend our abilities, but our judgment remains ours." That is what surprises them. Outside the station, the galaxy watched and waited. Star systems sent observers, fleets, and communications to understand Earth's approach. It was unlike anything seen before. A species combining technology, ethics, and strategy into a singular force. In private, Ambassador Corral admitted, "I have underestimated humans. I thought them fragile, incapable, but they understand more than we do, and they show it without arrogance. It is impressive." Counselor Rill nodded slowly. "Perhaps the galaxy will be better for their arrival. Or perhaps worse. Strength like this, even when restrained, changes the rules. The universe itself may never see things the same again." Meanwhile, the young Lauren delegate watched silently from a distance. She had come to see fragile humans, and instead, she saw beings who could command respect without demanding it. For the first time in her career, she realized that her species' assumptions had been limited, colored by fear and ignorance. When the exercise ended, the humans did not celebrate. The Iron Giants returned to their stations aboard the ships, moving silently, with efficiency. The humans remained composed, calm, and ever observant. Commander Reyes spoke softly to her crew. "They have seen what they needed to see. Some will respect us, some will fear us, and some will try to challenge us. That is fine. Our task is to ensure that every interaction favors peace, without surrendering our strength or values." As the Andarian leaders gathered to discuss the day's events, murmurs filled the chamber. "A species that commands power without aggression. Could this be the future? Asked one Zevian diplomat. Perhaps, whispered Counselor Riln. But we must remain vigilant. Even restrained power, if misunderstood, can spark fear and conflict. The humans are extraordinary, but the galaxy is unpredictable. Outside, the human iron giants drifted silently against the stars. Their silhouettes, massive and unyielding, contrasted with the delicate lights of alien vessels and stations. They were a visible statement of human resolve, a reminder that Earth had entered the galactic stage, not quietly, not politely, but with strength, intelligence, and purpose. And in that quiet drift through space, a simple truth became clear to every observer who dared to study the humans. They were not to be underestimated. The first day of demonstrations had ended. The aliens had learned that humanity combined ingenuity, restraint, and overwhelming capability. But there was more to come. The galaxy had yet to see the full scope of Earth's iron giants and the minds that guided them. As the stars stretched endlessly around the station, one young Zevian diplomat whispered almost in awe, "I expected diplomats, but they sent warriors, and yet they are more than warriors. They are humans." And that truth, quietly understood but widely felt, began to spread across the council chambers. The galaxy would never see Earth the same way again. The galaxy had changed in only a few days. The arrival of Earth's iron giants was the most discussed event across hundreds of star systems. Every news network, every trading route, and every political forum spoke about humans, how they came in enormous steel machines, calm yet powerful, peaceful yet unstoppable. Some admired them, some feared them, and a few wanted to test them. Inside the Andarian Council Station, the alien representatives prepared for another day of discussions. The large chamber shimmered under blue lighting, filled with the voices of dozens of species. Among them were whispers of doubt. "The humans speak of peace," one delegate hissed softly. "But what if their peace only lasts as long as their advantage?" Ambassador Corral of the Zevian Collective heard the murmurs but said nothing. He had watched the humans carefully over the past days. He had seen how they acted, calm, logical, and measured. They were not reckless. They were not cruel. But they were prepared in a way few species had ever been. When the council gathered, Counselor Riln addressed the hall. "Delegates of the Andarian Alliance, today, we will continue our assessment of Earth's representatives. They have shown great skill and control, but we must also understand how they respond to true danger." That statement caught everyone's attention. Commander Reyes, seated within her iron giant aboard the human vessel Horizon, received the transmission. She looked calm, though she understood the meaning behind Riln's words. A true danger test meant they wanted to see how humans acted when cornered, when peace was no longer an option. "Prepare the systems," she said softly. "They are going to test us again." Lieutenant Hahn frowned. "Do you think it's fair?" Reyes shook her head. "Fairness is not the goal here. Understanding is. Let them test. We will respond as humans always do, with clarity and control." Minutes later, alarms rang through the station. A simulation began, but this time it was different. It was not just a test. It looked real. A swarm of simulated enemy drones appeared on the council's holoscreens. They were designed to represent pirates attacking a civilian colony. The aliens watched from their stations as the hostile drones closed in on the colony's orbital defenses. "Earth representatives," Counselor Riln's voice echoed. "You are to respond as if this were real. Protect the civilians and defend your fleet." Commander Reyes didn't hesitate. "Understood." The iron giants deployed immediately. Their metallic forms moved out into the simulated battle zone. Sensors lit up as the humans scanned the field. Each movement was coordinated and efficient. "Enemy drones approaching fast," Hahn reported. Reyes nodded. "We'll intercept. Set formation Alpha 3. No lethal fire unless necessary." As the alien audience watched, the humans advanced, not recklessly but strategically. The iron giants formed a defensive wall between the attacking drones and the colony. Instead of firing wildly, they used precision energy beams to disable the attackers' engines and weapon systems. Within minutes, the drones were neutralized, not destroyed, but carefully disarmed and contained. Gasps filled the council chamber. "They protected the colony without loss," someone exclaimed. Ambassador Corral leaned forward. "They won without destruction." Fascinating. But the test wasn't over yet. Suddenly, a new signal appeared, one not part of the simulation. The Andarian engineers in the control room froze in shock. This is not part of the test, one whispered. The signal is real. On the holographic display, a fleet of unknown ships appeared on the outer rim of the system. Their energy signatures were strange, unstable, and aggressive. The Andarian defense systems detected them too late. They were real raiders, not holograms. The council chamber erupted into chaos. "What is happening?" shouted one delegate. "They are pirates. They found our location," cried another. Councillor Rillen tried to stay calm. "Activate station defenses." But the raiders moved fast, firing energy blasts that struck the outer shields of the station. The defense systems flickered and strained under the assault. The aliens panicked. In that moment, Commander Reyes's voice cut through the confusion. Calm, firm, and commanding. "This is Commander Reyes of the United Earth Fleet. We are engaging." Without waiting for orders, the Iron Giants launched from their hangars. The humans had trained for this. They didn't need approval to act when civilians were in danger. The first of the Iron Giants raised its arms, glowing shields forming around it. The raiders' blast struck the shields harmlessly. Then, with swift precision, the humans returned fire, not to destroy but to disable. "They are attacking the pirates," cried an alien officer. Ambassador Corral watched closely, eyes wide. "No, not attacking. Defending." The human machines moved through the raider ships like guardians of light. Their energy beams cut through enemy weapons but spared the ship's cores. Within minutes, half the pirate fleet was immobilized. The others, realizing they could not win, began to flee. "Commander," Han said, "they're retreating." Reyes's tone remained even. "Then let them go. Mark their coordinates. Send the data to the council for tracking. No need for pursuit." The silence in the council chamber was almost overwhelming. The aliens stared at the displays, unable to believe what they were seeing. "They saved us," whispered the Lauren delegate. "The humans saved us without hesitation." Councillor Riln, usually calm and analytical, finally spoke. "Commander Reyes, your actions were unexpected. You acted without request, yet your response was perfect. You protected this station with skill beyond measure." Reyes's voice came through again. "Earth believes in responsibility. We do not wait for permission to do what is right." Those words echoed through the chamber. Many aliens bowed their heads in quiet respect. After the raider threat was neutralized, the human Iron Giants returned to formation. They hovered silently near the station, their glowing eyes watching the stars for any sign of danger. Inside her cockpit, Commander Reyes looked out at the view. "This was not a test," she said softly. "This was a reminder. The galaxy is dangerous, but peace can survive if you are strong enough to defend it." Lieutenant Han smiled faintly. "And now they know that we mean it." Hours later, as the council reconvened, the atmosphere had changed completely. The aliens were no longer questioning Earth's presence. They were grateful for it. Ambassador Corral stood before the assembly. "Today, humanity has proven that strength can serve peace. Their actions saved this station and everyone within it. I believe we have witnessed something rare, a species that fights not for conquest but for protection." Councillor Riln nodded slowly. "It seems Earth has given us a new example, one we would do well to follow." Even those who had doubted humanity before now saw them differently. The Lauren delegate, still shaken, approached the humans after the session. "You risked your lives for us. You had no obligation to do so." Reyes smiled. "We did what anyone should do when faced with injustice or danger. Sometimes that is what diplomacy means, not just words, but actions." The delegate bowed respectfully. "Then perhaps your way of peace is stronger than we imagined." As the humans prepared to depart for the day, the Iron Giants moved gracefully through space, their armor gleaming under the starlight. Across the galaxy, word of the event spread quickly. Systems that had doubted Earth began to reconsider. The stories told of humans in steel machines, calm, intelligent, and courageous, spread like wildfire. They expected diplomats, the report said. But Earth sent guardians, giants of iron and spirit. In the quiet of her command deck, Commander Reyes looked toward the stars and whispered to herself, "Let them see. Let them understand that peace does not come from weakness. It comes from the courage to stand between danger and those who cannot defend themselves." And far across the galaxy, those words began to take root. For the first time, the name Earth was spoken not with pity or dismissal, but with respect. The days following the pirate attack changed everything. The Andarian Council station, once filled with whispers and doubt, now echoed with new respect for the humans. Across the galaxy, messages poured in, some offering friendship, others asking questions, and a few sending cautious warnings. The humans had proven themselves capable not only of power, but of wisdom and restraint. Commander Reyes stood on the bridge of the horizon, gazing out into the stars. The iron giants stood silent around the station, floating like watchful guardians. Their metallic frames reflected the light of nearby suns, glowing softly like sentinels of peace. "Reports keep coming in," said Lieutenant Han. "Dozens of systems want to open diplomatic relations with Earth. Even some of our critics now speak with admiration." Reyes smiled slightly. "Admiration is good, but it also means attention, and attention brings new challenges." Han nodded. "You think they'll test us again?" Reyes's eyes stayed on the stars. "Not with weapons this time. With politics." The council convenes again. The Andarian Council chamber was crowded. Representatives from 20 more civilizations had arrived since the pirate incident. Hollow screens filled the room with streams of data, translations, and interstellar broadcasts showing the humans' actions. Councillor Riln opened the meeting. "Delegates, we gathered today to discuss the future of humanity's place in our alliance. They have proven capable in battle, wise in judgment, and calm under pressure. The question now is, can they be trusted with influence among the stars?" A murmur spread through the room. Ambassador Corral rose first. "They have shown more restraint than many of us would have. They could have destroyed the pirates completely, yet they spared them. That shows honor." A tall crystalline being from the Evos cluster disagreed. "Or strategy. Mercy can be another kind of weapon. Perhaps they wish to appear moral so that we lower our defenses." Reyes and her team watched the debate through a transmission feed. The translator rendered every voice clearly. "Let them argue," said Han softly. "They don't realize that we can hear every word." Reyes folded her hands. "It's not about hearing. It's about learning. This is how trust is built, not through silence but through transparency." The debate continued. Some spoke of partnership, others of caution. Finally, Councillor Riln raised his voice. "There's only one way to decide. Let Earth join a field operation under Council authority. If they succeed, they prove their loyalty. If they fail, they remain as observers." The room fell silent. Every delegate turned toward the human's holographic projection. Reyes stood calm and professional. "We accept." The mission was called Operation Starshield. A small mining colony on the edge of Andarian space had gone silent. Sensors detected strange gravitational fluctuations and unknown energy readings. Some feared another pirate attack. Others suspected something far worse, a new species emerging from the void. For the first time, humans and aliens would work side by side. The Andarian fleet, sleek and elegant, carried scientists and diplomats. The human ships, heavy and solid, carried the iron giants. When they arrived, the colony appeared empty. The buildings floated in low orbit, abandoned. No signals came from the surface. "Strange," muttered Han. "It's too quiet." "No signs of battle, no life readings," Reyes nodded. "Stay sharp. This feels like a trap." Moments later, the unknown energy readings spiked. The stars themselves seemed to shimmer, and then something emerged. At first it looked like a storm, swirling clouds of dark matter and lightning. Then the storm took shape, mechanical creatures, twisting metal forms unlike anything in the known galaxy. They moved without sound, but their intent was clear. "They're attacking," shouted one of the Andarian captains. Reyes reacted instantly. "Deploy the iron giants. Protect the Andarian fleet." The human machines launched from their carriers, massive figures shining against the dark void. The alien ships fired their energy beams, but the strange attackers absorbed the blasts as if feeding on them. "Energy weapons ineffective," cried an Andarian officer. Reyes's eyes narrowed. "Then we adapt. Giants. Switch to kinetic mode." The iron giants shifted instantly, their arms transforming into rail cannons and magnetic blades. They moved through the storm with precision, cutting through the creatures with sheer physical force. Each movement was deliberate, efficient, protective, and strong. The Andarian fleet watched in awe as the humans fought. They are adapting in seconds," an alien commander said. "Humans don't wait for orders," Ambassador Corral whispered. "They think while fighting. It's like their machines share a single mind." Within minutes, the strange mechanical swarm began to retreat, dispersing back into the void. The colony's sensors came back online. The danger was over. Respect earned after the mission, the combined fleet returned to the council station. Reports were immediate: no casualties, no civilian damage, and total mission success. The alien crews, who had doubted the humans before, now looked at them with open admiration. In the council chamber, Councillor Riln stood before everyone. The humans have done what few could. They defended our allies, adapted to the unknown, and ensured safety without unnecessary loss. I propose that Earth be offered full diplomatic status in the Andarian alliance. Applause echoed through the chamber. Even those who had been cautious before now nodded in agreement. Ambassador Corral approached Commander Reyes personally after the session. You have shown that Earth is not only strong but wise. Your machines are powerful, but it is your minds that make you extraordinary. Reyes bowed slightly. Thank you, Ambassador. We believe that peace without strength is fragile, but strength without wisdom is dangerous. We try to keep both. Corral smiled faintly. You remind me that the galaxy still has much to learn. Whispers of fear, but not everyone was pleased. In the darker corners of the station, certain factions spoke in hushed voices. They gain influence too quickly, one alien whispered. Today they fight beside us. Tomorrow they might lead us, another warned. Rumors spread. Fears that humanity might rise to dominate the alliance. Yet in public none dared to speak against them directly. The image of the Iron Giants had become a symbol across the stars, the protectors of peace. Commander Reyes knew these whispers would come. She discussed them with her officers aboard the Horizon. Some will fear us no matter what we do, Han said quietly. Reyes nodded. Fear is natural. What matters is what we do next. If we lead by example, that fear will fade. But if we ever misuse our power, even once, it will confirm their worst beliefs. So we stay the course? Yes, with patience. Outside the ship's wide viewport, the Iron Giants drifted in formation. Their presence brought comfort to allies and unease to those still uncertain. A new promise a week later. A grand ceremony was held in the Andarian Hall of Unity. Flags from hundreds of worlds fluttered in zero gravity. At the center stood Commander Reyes representing Earth. Beside her were representatives of every major species in the Alliance. Councillor Riln spoke to the gathered crowd. Let this day mark a new chapter in galactic history. The humans of Earth have proven that power and peace can coexist. Let us welcome them not as strangers but as equals. The chamber erupted in applause. The human flag was raised beside the banners of the other worlds. Cameras across the galaxy transmitted the image live. Billions watched as humanity took its place among the stars. Reyes stepped forward to speak. Her voice was steady, carrying across every channel. Earth thanks you for this honor. We came not to rule or to conquer. We came to learn, to share, and to protect. The galaxy is vast and full of challenges, but together we can face them. Not as enemies, but as partners. Let the Iron Giants stand not as weapons, but as symbols of our shared strength. Her words drew cheers and silent nods alike. Even those who had feared humanity felt something change inside them. A realization that humans were not conquerors. They were guardians.